So the Youth Filmmaker Project is an exciting initiative by the Nfvf and supported by SABC and KwaZulu-Natal Film Commission, which looks for the brightest film writing and directing talent in the country to give them an opportunity to be in an incubator and ultimately produce their first professional short film that becomes a calling card for them in the industry.
So I was born in Eldorado Park.
I was born in the Eastern Cape, Styxford. Tembisa,
a small mining town called Atok.
I am from Deep Blue, Soweto.
I'm from Diepsloot.
I grew up in Q.
I was born in the Eastern Cape.
I grew up in a village called Ndweni.
I'm born in Geneva, Switzerland, raised in South Africa.
I'm from Garangua, Kogaranga, representing Garangua.
So the Youth Filmmaker Project did a public call out and nationally on radios, television, newspapers to ask previously disadvantaged people of color to apply for this program.
I first saw the post in the Nfvf website, and then a few days later, one of my associates, that I work with, he sent me the link, and then that's when I applied.
I saw the post. I think a friend of mine had sent it in the writers group, and I remember saying, "Little Africa." I read the brief and I was like, "Man, that's you! That's you!"
I wasn't feeling too confident as a writer. And I almost didn't apply until I saw that little bit that I could apply as a director only. So I'm like, okay, that's the one area I feel somewhat confident in.
I'm looking back, it's crazy because I was just in this my small room, I'm in on my dusty computer, this thing where I am today. But then, I did apply, and then we went for the interviews.
Ooh, when I got the call from Sine, I was like over the moon. This is finally happening. I don't have to no, I had somebody who would I had hope that I would make it here.
I got to be shortlisted and I was part of the people who were called in for interviews, and I always say, for me at least, don't make the mistake of getting me in the room.
When I came to the interview, I prepared everything, but then when I got there, the room was just full of all these people, and they all looked so serious. They were just there.
I think we waited for a week, something like that. And then I got another email that I was actually part of the 17 people that were shortlisted for this program.
We began with the development phase where we did workshops with the mentors. We also had one-on-one sessions to help with that development. I enjoyed that part the most.
Well, I think the vision behind the Young Filmmakers Project is politically vital in that we have to not pay lip service to the emergence of new South African voices. You've got to invest in them, you've got to give them the opportunity, you've got to put them through the grinder, and you've got to nurture, support, and make sure that young voices are given the opportunity to excel, to find their voices, and then to have the opportunity to have those voices represented on, hopefully, PBS, Public Service Broadcast.
There's so much that we underestimate about films, and having industry practitioners who have experience, who come and train you in terms of how to structure a story, make it more reflective and more relatable to life. I think those were key things, because those things took me back into journaling and reflecting more back on myself as a filmmaker.
Being part of the workshops and developing the script was really an eye-opening experience, in a sense that you start to see the truth of exactly what you need to do versus what you had in your head. So you always have this story in your head that this movie's gonna be like this and it's gonna have this element, and it seems cool up until they start poking at it and you realize that it's kind of empty.
So far in the program, it has been an eye-opener. It has been an eye-opener because I had the privilege of being taught by industry professionals. I was equipped with the knowledge, with the insight of surviving in the industry.
Well, the National Film and Video Foundation is an agency of the Department of Arts and Culture. that was established to enable the film industry to prosper and grow. As we celebrate our democracy, we also, as much as we want to look back, I think it's very important that we look to the future, right? That what kind of stories are we going to be making in the next couple of years, and what are the tools that we are giving young people in order for them to become self-sustainable.
So the kind of jobs I did on set, on the job training, I was part of the Showmax film in Kize to Masimula. And there I worked in art department. So anytime someone still yells art, I get triggered, even when I'm talent, because I know everything needs to happen quick and now.
The other internship that I did was also another film, but I was doing script supervising, which is something that I also found interesting because it's also part of the directing department, and I was close with the director and I learned more about directing by just watching and being the person who's doing script supervising.
The table read, I think it's like listening to a voice note. The table read was like listening to a voice note. I hate listening back to my voice, but now I felt like I was listening back at my own voice and someone was reading it to me and I hated what I was saying.
With the table reads, it was an interesting phase because when you know that the pots are almost ready, to be cooked. So I remember a few directors, we actually got together to discuss amongst ourselves, hey, who's taking what.
Prepping for my pitching, it involved references, going back to watch film, going back to my concept, what inspired me initially. It was a chance for me to communicate my film visually. It was exciting, but then at the pitching, there were some of the aspects that I missed, and then I was helped, I was given some tips and notes that I went on back, to implement on my production Bible, which Sisanda complemented.
So the pitching process was fun for me because we got to show the SABC, the Nfvf, and Sisanda Henna films the vision visually now. Because prior to this, it was more about what the script looks like, and now this is more about what we see as directors.
Where do I see my film going? I see my film going to great heights because I understand the amount of work that was put into it. I can't just give myself the credit for that. It has so many hands on it that it has to do great.
I see myself really writing more of my own films. I see myself securing funding for those films.
It has really kind of like catapulted me into the film industry so fast. It's supposed to be a year program, but before even the year ended, I find myself in this position where I'm now kind of like feeling like they squeezed me in and I'm within the industry.
I'm a little bit more braver in the way that I dream and a little bit more confident. But what I really hope for myself is that I keep on dreaming and soaring.
Follow your heart, do what is right for you. If you have a dream, there is somebody who's willing to listen to it and make it come true. So, it is possible.
Thank you very much.